Rick opened his banking app. $127. He worked 71 hours last week. He closed the app and stared at the ceiling. His dad worked hard his whole life. Died at 54. Heart attack at his desk. Left behind $19,000 in debt. Rick was 36 now. And he could feel it happening. The same exhaustion. The same trap. The same ending. Rick's mom called on a Tuesday. He was in a meeting. Let it go to voicemail. She texted, "Just wanted to hear your voice. Miss you, honey." Rick stared at those words for 5 minutes. He was grinding 70-hour weeks to make something of himself, so he could take care of her someday. But what if someday never came? That thought gutted him. That night at 2 a.m., Rick couldn't sleep. He was scrolling aimlessly, phone in hand, mind racing. And then an Amazon recommendation appeared, a book he'd never seen before. The Creator's Laws. He almost kept scrolling, but something made him stop. He clicked it and ordered it immediately. It arrived the next morning. He opened it before his first coffee. One paragraph changed everything. Rick stopped breathing. He read it again. The book explained something Rick had never heard before. Every human being operates on 3 levels of energy. The first, body energy. This is what Rick had been using his whole life. Physical effort, long hours, exhaustion. It's what his dad used too. And there's a ceiling to how much body energy can earn you. Because there are only 24 hours in a day. This is why no matter how hard Rick worked, he could never break through. He was running on a fuel source with a fixed limit. The second, spirit energy. Knowledge, skills, information. This is why doctors earn more than delivery drivers. Why lawyers earn more than factory workers. Why traders earn more than laborers. Not because they work harder physically, but because they expanded their knowledge energy. Their spirit energy. So Rick started there. Months, 1 to 4. He stopped working overtime and used that time to learn data analysis. He joined a professional meet and met 2 people who sent him freelance work. He started sleeping 7 hours instead of 5. And his mind finally worked again. Months 5 to 12. He freelanced on weekends. His first project paid $500, then $1,200, then $1,800. It was not life-changing yet, but it was proof. Spirit energy was working. But then Rick found something deeper in the book, something most people never discover. The third energy, the most powerful of all, soul energy, not body, not mind, soul. The book explained it like this. If a man makes bread for himself, he bakes 1 loaf. If he makes bread for his family, he bakes 4 or 5. But if he makes bread for his entire city, he becomes the owner of a bakery or a bread factory. The size of your income is determined by the size of the people you serve. Rick had been making bread for himself. That's why he could only afford 1 loaf. So Rick changed his focus. He stopped asking, "How do I earn more?" He started asking, "Who can I serve more?" He used his new data skills not just to freelance for money, but to genuinely solve problems for people who needed help. He stopped thinking about his rent. He started thinking about his clients' problems. He stopped working to survive. He started working to give, and something shifted. Months 13 to 18. A contact from his meet offered him a full-time contract. $16,000 more per year. Not because Rick begged, not because Rick hustled harder, but because Rick had become someone who genuinely helped others grow. His soul energy was expanding, and the universe responded. 18 months later, he paid off $5,500 in debt and saved $2,200. And for the first time in his life, he didn't feel like he was surviving. He felt like he was creating. It wasn't easy. In month 7, Rick almost quit. Freelancing felt slow, and he wondered if he was delusional. Coworkers mocked him and told him to just work more. His old boss guilt-tripped him when he turned down overtime. But Rick kept going, because the alternative was his father's life, and he refused. A year and a half in, Rick's mom had a minor surgery. She needed help for a few days. Rick took time off without panic. Because he had savings and flexibility, he stayed with her, cooked for her, and sat with her every day. On the last day, she squeezed his hand and said, "You seem lighter." Rick smiled and said, "I stopped working for money, Mom. I started working for you, for people like you," and everything changed. She didn't fully understand, but she felt it, and that was enough. Here's what Rick learned. There are 3 levels of energy inside every human being. Body energy. Everyone has it, and almost everyone uses only this. Spirit energy. Knowledge and skills. This is where most successful people stop. Soul energy. The rarest and most powerful. The one that creates factories, not just bread. You don't need to be born rich to access soul energy. You don't need a degree. You don't need connections. You just need to master the universal laws to learn how to use powerful soul energy. Most people will never know this exists. Rick almost didn't either. Just as we must obey traffic rules when driving to avoid difficulties. Our lives and the whole human society are ruled by universal laws. The Creator's Laws contains 28 universal laws that determine human life. Book link in the top comment.